Hey, welcome to another edition of Survival Quick Tips. I'm David. Well, since having clean drinking water is absolutely essential to survival in any situation, today I'm going to show you how to make your own improvised portable water filter for about 25 cents out of a water bottle and a few materials that you can scrape together just about anywhere. And before we're all done, I'll filter some really nasty water and I'll even drink it. Let's get started. Okay, so to make our water filter, we're going to need a few things. A container. So I'm just going to use a GatorAid bottle because I normally have one around. And I like how strong they are. The way that they mold the plastic, it just makes for a stronger container in my opinion. Now I do have some regular water bottles. You could use this also. And what I'm going to show you is completely scalable. So you could use a 2-liter bottle. You could use a big old 5-gallon bucket. So we're going to need some coarse stone. I already collected this stuff up earlier. We're going to need some finer fines stone. We're going to need some fine sand. We're going to need some coarse sand, and we're going to need charcoal. Probably the most important ingredient. I'm going to use some rubber bands. Got 2 rubber bands here. But for what I'm going to use the rubber bands for, we could have easily just used some wire, some 20-24 gauge wire, which I normally carry in my bug out bag or backpack, or some paracord. But because I have them and I normally carry them anyway, I'm going to use rubber bands. Make things a little bit simpler. Of course, we're going to need some nasty, dirty water, which we've got some right here. And we're going to need a couple of pieces of cloth. In this example, I'm going to just use some cotton. But in our permanent filter, I'm going to use polyester, and I'll tell you why when we get there. And let's get started. Okay, first thing we're going to do is move these things out of the way. Put the rubber bands over here. We're going to go ahead and cut our GatorAid bottle. Just ditch this label so you can see what's going on. And cut it towards the bottom here, kind of like this. If I cut it just right, I probably could use it for a cap and a lid and secure it on there. Okay, maybe I probably still could, but I'm not going to do that right now. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to put our bottom filter on, which is just going to be a piece of cloth. So it can be a bandana, it can be pretty much anything. It could be a piece of foam. This might be a little bit big. And it's actually going to hold everything in the bottom too. So let me just slice off a little bit of this. Okay. I'm just going to roll that up, stuff that in there. Nice and tight, like that. Next we're going to get our charcoal. And I'm going to need another piece of cloth here. So I'm just going to dump out our charcoal. And of course we're going to need a knife. I already showed you that, but I forgot to tell you about it. And I'm going to use an axe. I could have used a rock, but I'm going to use my axe because I have it. And the only reason I have my axe is to do this. It's got this nice little maul on the back. We're going to bust up our charcoal that I got from the fire pit earlier. Move this knife. I'm going to bust it up pretty good. Make smaller chunks. Well, charcoal is very porous, absorbs a lot of nasty stuff. And you really can't do a water filter that's very effective without it. I mean, you can, but this is going to take a lot of bad stuff out. Okay, let's put a bunch of this in now. That's probably fine. Okay, next we're going to put in our fine sand. So at this point, after we get our bottom filter, hold everything in and our charcoal in, we're going to go from finest material to thickest. And this is literally, it's playground sand. Like, it's nothing fancy. I went to Lowe's and asked where the playground sand is, and they told me. Now we're going to use some coarse sand. Now you can see there's a little bit more small rock type material in this stuff. I'm just going to grab a handful or so, put some more in there. And this is actually paver sand for installing stone pavers. Many moons ago, I was a landscape architect in a landscape company. We use that stuff all the time. Next, we're going to dump in there's some stone in here, but a lot of fines. Now I got this out of kind of a drainage area where the water runs down over the mountain here, and this is nice filtration stuff from erosion. And from the same spot, I collected this stuff off the top, which is a lot coarser angular stone. I'll put some of that in. That'd be helpful. Is that it? I think that's it. Okay, next thing we're going to do is we're going to get, I think this is just an old bandana. Let me just cut this thing. It's a little bit unruly. I don't need all this. Just need a small filter on the top and rubber band. All right, now we are ready. We can take the cap off the bottom, and we're ready for some nasty water. So I'm going to use just a tin cup here because we're going to have to run this water through probably a couple of times. Push this down a little bit. Shake up our water. Get that nasty stuff floating around. It's going to take a little bit at first. Okay, now this first little bit of water is going to be kind of nasty, to be honest with you. And you can, I don't know if you can see that, but it is pretty brown. And actually most of that is just getting the dirt off of the stone that we collected. So once we leave that kind of drip out for a while, then we can go ahead and get rid of that. And I'm going to use a glass cup now. And we're just going to go ahead and drip more of this in here. And let me put some more nasty water in. Shake it up a bit. Get the nasties floating around. Nasty. Look how nasty it is. It's gross. Put some more of this in. Now we do want to make sure and be very careful not to get our tainted, dirty water into our clean water vessel. So, this all takes a little bit of time. Now, of course, a bigger filter is going to produce water faster. And actually, to be honest with you, we could probably do this without the rag, just to speed the process up. So I'm just going to move this out of the way. I'm going to ditch the rag for now, because our rag's getting pretty gunked up and it's slowing the process down. So let me just move this over here, ditch the rag, bring this back over, get nasty water in here. Let's speed this process up some. I don't know if you can see that, but this water's coming out pretty clean. Now, one thing I need to say is that this is just filtration. This is not purification. So you would still want to use iodine tablets, or you need to just boil the water, because that'll take care of the nasties that are alive. So always make sure that you boil your water after you filter it, and you'll be very happy and not have diarrhea. So I'm just going to go ahead and shut the cameras off, and we'll come back and I'll show you what we have in a little bit. So we've gotten a little bit further here, and this whole process has taken, to get this much water, probably about 7 to 10 minutes. Now we could rig some wire around the top here and hang this from a tree or something, but we're not doing that this time. So let's look at the difference in the water. It's a pretty big difference. I would almost drink this, except that some of this water came out of the cow trough. So I'm gonna boil it before I drink it. So there you go. Pretty easy, snappy filter that you can make with a bottle, a few natural things you find around you, a piece of a t-shirt, and really nasty water. We've just taken a look at how to make an improvised water filter out of a water bottle and other readily available materials. So don't forget to subscribe to this channel. And for more gear reviews, survival tips, and survival news, check out ultimatesurvivaltips.com. And while you're there, grab our monthly survival e-mag, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter to get the latest news and be the first to hear about the great gear giveaway contests we have planned. Okay, this is David. I hope to see you on the other side, and remember, be prepared because you never know.